An immortal with an immortal soul. That was who I had turned into. A monster at the heart of a human. There had been a time when I had wished to become as strong as the demon I grew to love. A time where strength was all that had mattered. For a sister who no longer existed. What a twisted fate. I mused to myself. I was now given the strength only for my sister to be taken away. Gone. What was even more worse? I'd almost forgotten about her. Forgotten my life before. Forgotten Akaza. So close, I had been so close to becoming the demon that Akaza had feared I would become. He himself had told me of his own past, one that came back whilst breaking free of the curse. A love he had once had, a strong bond as a sister and me had. Kimiko, the soul who had never truly been free, hurt at a fly. We had both lost those who had meant so much to us, who had altered the course of our lives. But in the end, it was just us now, two demons with an entirety of a life. As the weeks passed, Akaza told me more and more about how he adjusted, how he had grown to long for power, how he had become Upper Moon 3. Weeks had passed. Weeks without any word of the one who had murdered my family. No tug on a bond, no thread that Akaza claimed would have linked us. Must have linked us. Neither of us mentioned it. A slight argument we'd made to live that we had, despite the two of us both aware that any movement together would be our last. The Demon King could take it all away. It was a fear that had us never remaining in the same quiet spot for long. We trained profusely, if only to keep those fears at bay, even if I had no one to train myself for except myself. My sister no longer. It was another pain that I could not escape, even if my new body, my new life, was different, but one I would not allow to take over me. Even so, it didn't stop me from wondering why I felt nothing, absolutely nothing from the king, as if there wasn't a bond between us to begin with, as if there wasn't even an ounce of bond at all. I surged forward, a hand coming from my heart, right over the chest that was racing and falling hurriedly. My breathing was ragged, my throat raw. There is no bond, I rasped, staring wide-eyed at the forest above us, the roof of trees that had become our temporary home whilst there was sun. Akaza, there is no bond. The demon before me went still, so incredibly still, along with the forest that shuddered from us each and every day that the sun peered. I shook my head, meeting his gaze. He took a single step towards me. What do you mean? We've just been waiting all this time for it to appear, waiting for a summoning from him that would rip us apart for weeks. All we've been doing is training to help me fight back if I were to ever be called for his side. Akaza merely frowned. But what if there is no thread between us, between me and Kibutsuji? That isn't possible. I told you this. I shook my head, my heart thundering in my ears. I wasn't sure how it took me so long to realize, to come to terms with the fact that perhaps feeling nothing meant that there was nothing. Think about it, Akaza. I reached for him, taking a hold of his hand, halted both of us from our careful walk under the trees in which the daylight threaded through. He hasn't summoned me in all this time. Why is that? A shake of the demon's head. Because he wants to induce fear. He is smart like that, Yin. I waved him off. I know that, but it just didn't make sense. Why he would wait so long, give me so much hope. Why there was no ounce of control. You truly believe that he doesn't have any say over you whatsoever? I nodded thickly, twice, and swallowed. It doesn't make sense otherwise. He has me, or so he thought, and yet he won't take me? Sure, he might want us to all hope, to induce fear, but he hasn't done anything. Akaza considered. Perhaps, but even so, what if that's also his plan? To make you guess that even now, I don't know if we should simply assume that you broke free of the bond. I don't think there was a bond to begin with. Akaza started, but I cut him off. There is no curse because I never believed becoming one was a curse in the end. Something in my eyes sparkled. And my father, he was the first to break free. And then you. And now, having a blood of demon within me, my father's, had maybe prevented a bond from forming. Nothing for me to break free from. Maybe you were never cursed, if you never believed it was a curse to begin with. He finished for me, and Akaza laughed a huff. I suppose if it were possible to be able to be free, to shatter it, then maybe Muzan unwittingly gifted you this. I grinned, a sparkle of hope sparking within my chest. But you're right. There is no way for us to know for certain. Akaza tilted his head, his own smile frowning, the tattoos inked into his pale skin almost glistening. Then, what do you want to do? Was that a question, wasn't it? What do you want to do? I tore my gaze from his lingering one, fixing it upon the forest behind us, leading us directly towards my home. The home that had perhaps never been so. A different person ago. A different lifetime ago. I was not the same person. I was not the same woman who fought and fought, nearly destroying herself for a cause that, in the end, was only forfeited. Kimiko was gone. Her beautiful, excruciating soul was wiped from the earth, and not for one damn moment would I ever forget the sight of her mangled corpse upon the blood-soaked bed. Never would I forget the anguish that forged into an icy rage that had me going for the Demon King's throat. He who had killed my sister, along with the mother that I had killed. Perhaps it was now my demon-added mind, but not for one moment did I regret that kill. Not for all she had done to Kimiko. I clenched my fist, feeling the power in my veins. I was no one's subject. No one had control over me, and I could do damn well whatever I wanted. I had years to my life, years and decades with Akaza. What do you want to do? I don't want to run any longer, I said, Akaza turning at my tone. I'm tired of running, of fears that eat away at both of us. I want him to suffer in the ways that I have, the way that you have. I want that bastard to see how big of a mistake he made when he turned me into a full demon. For him to know that he had broken me into what I am. I breathed. I want to make Kibutsuji burn. Akaza smiled at me, beautiful in its own wickedness. A bit dramatic, my dear, but I suppose you've always been that way. I rolled my eyes, desperate for my newfound determination. But if you wish to make that son of a bitch pay, a flash of his canines, then let's bring his kingdom to the ground. I wonder what those damn demon slayers would think about all this. I snorted. Please, you're more dramatic than I ever been, but perhaps we should build our own kingdom whilst we've had it. I threw a grin his way. Maybe free a few more demons as well. Start a new era. Akaza only shrugged, as if the task were mere easily. And, retorting at his shoulders in a stretch, the wildness that grew along the both of our hopes was undoubtedly as the ends met his eyes. You say the word, darling, and we can arise the whole entire world together. I closed the gap between us, wrapping my arms around him, savoring the physical feeling of him next to me. Maybe in a few decades, once I'm bored of all of this. He laughed, rumbled against me as he tugged me closer. Let's get to work then, shall we? I tilted my head to look up at him, to beyond everything he was. There was a time when he had told me that I was his salvation, but in the end, he had my own. Maybe from the very start, he had begun the process of saving me. I was not going to run away any longer, and neither was he. Muzanki Buchiji would meet his end one way or another, and I'd been damned if I wasn't there to see it. Bounded or not, I was going to avenge all those he had lost. I kissed Akaza gently, softly. Then, let's begin. The start of our new beginning. The end. Hello everyone, and sadly that is the finale. Now, like I've said before, I will be taking a week off to just, do whatever I want, and also finish the My Hero Academia book that I have planned for the next and not final My Hero Academia story that I will be doing. But I'll talk more about that later. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. Bye, lovelies. Mwah.